time, right? You know, you just leave it be. You don't want to deal with these guys anymore. You need points. For Bra Esports, I mean, there was quite a few memes going around yesterday in the PUBG mobile sphere where we saw a lot of them talking about how Bra Esports were running towards the start line and not the finish line with the way they were playing out their angles. And I hope it doesn't happen today, but you're right. I think with the way that they like to play out this game, the way they like to play PUBG Mobile, I think they're going to be stubborn about this and they're not going to change things up.
And that's fine if you can prove that you deserve that hot drop, right? That's the big caveat to it. If you're going to be that stubborn, you just got to make sure you win those fights, Blank. So at the end of the day, that's what it will come down to. We'll dissect that one a little bit more when we get into our back-to-back Erengaus. For now, we start it off just where I'd want to. A nice SANHOK to ease us into day 2. Will the hot drops be coming in thick and fast? Is that our man, them gladiators on screen? They looked a little bit happier in the body language, I will say. And straight into the drop, it looks like Matic is ready to kick this one off.
Yeah, looking a lot more comfortable today, that's for sure. I think there was some nervous faces, right? A couple of sweat beads down the forehead. Good start there, immediately getting instant control over the top side of Northwest Island. I think they were able to drop down first 2. Now they just don't want to push things too far because I think this is where Gladiators tend to have the most of their mistakes happen, is just these silly little errors. And already starting off strong, they get the initial knock, the initial flush. That is such good news for them. And I think it's that initial bit of damage coming through from Matic, which just absolutely sends them away. And a great shot again to take down another one from Matic, no less.
This is fantastic, actually, because you've got the high ground to play off as well. And I like the way they've just forced the issue here. Obviously, Alter Ego, no easy side to strike down upon instantly. So for Gladiators, this could be a big confidence buff. And it looks a lot better already. Matic hitting his shots. I'll be honest with you, Blank. Yesterday, it left a lot to be desired with Matic. And that's a shame, because he's normally one of those players that can pop off. It just felt like Gladiators were a bit sluggish, a bit slow. You've been forced into a hot drop here, and they're taking it on the chin. They're rolling with the punches. They are forcing Alter Ego out of this position. They want you to leave and hightail it, and they're lucky they barely get away.
Yeah, and I mean, the way they deal with it as well, right? They really give them some good suffering on their side. Both down to very minimal HP. I think for Gladiators, that was a very important fight at the start of the day, especially because we've got 2 more days ahead of us here on SANHOK. I don't think Gladiators want to be giving up this position every single time. So the fact they're able to be very confident with it coming into day 2 means that Alter Ego, I don't know how likely it is for them to come back up here anytime soon, because if they have to make that same exit and it is slower, you can see this angle here. Reject actually took a couple of shots up towards Gladiators during that fight from their position where they play around trifecta. So if Alter Ego take too long, they get forced down towards those cliffs. Those sight lines open up, and Reject now knows there's an opportunity to get in on that engagement. Tixi still not giving up the ghost there. With the iron sights, it might be a bit more difficult, but we know Tixi can hit those shots.
Tixi on a good day, hitting shots like that, got the confidence to be running around, just iron sighted up, ready for scraps. Yeah, looks a bit better. You could see something had changed a little bit, just even in the body language, man. With the shots we saw on the camera, they looked a little bit happier about the overall day they have ahead of them, which is a good mindset to have. Obviously, you know, sometimes it can be very hard to keep your mental level coming straight back into things here, quite far down the overall ranking. So we'll keep our eyes peeled for that one. We'll see how it goes. Meanwhile, we've got Quest on screens. Yesterday, Quest did a good job of accumulating points, but they were always fighting from the back foot. Ooh, easy with a quick follow-up on that one, though, as he gets challenged by Chow and does chow down on him a little bit more literally there, biting with both barrels. Parajin on the trade as well, close towards the rock, as he'll rock Quest's world and leave them knocked in a bit of an unfortunate position. 2 of the players now completely isolated and not much room for the other 2 to help them or really bail them out for this. You kind of have to give the wide berth the whole way round to go for the res onto easy. By this time, they're going to have reset from the fight, and you're going to have a very angry DX ahead of you.
Yeah, I think for DX, honestly, right, yesterday, I have to echo Kale's sentiments that It's just a case of this is not a team that I thought would be this impressive, right? I think a lot of times in the past, and I talked about it yesterday, the Circle loved this team over in PMGC last year. They did a really good job off the back of that, able to get themselves some very cheeky circles, get some great compounds to play off the back of. But it feels like they've really tried hard in towards this PMGC. It's not been easy for them in a lot of circles, and despite that, still hitting some great shots, still getting some very good fights in, even taking it to Bra Esports. I think that was a fight that we thought would be 100% in favor of Bra in the first place, but DX showed that they've got some real power coming into this tournament, and I'm extremely pleased to see it. Already, Quest is suffering badly at the hands of them. And this is Pasija Evos coming in over towards Malice Esports. They made this same rotate yesterday, so you'd have hoped that Malice would be ready for it. Already they're able to take off one player from them, but it's one apiece right now.
Bit of a trade game being played from either side. Just taking pot shots where they can. Evos overall as well. I really loved the confidence they have in their full squad. I think that was one of the more interesting things, is how they're able to rotate this roster out from substitute to substitute and gel so easily with it. You know, it's not always the same squad. It's not always Luxy and Zuxy that are in the driving seat to really pop off and be that duo. It feels like you can pass the baton a little bit. And I do wonder if there's preferences there based on substitutes as well, of what battleground they're playing on or how late in the day it is, because it did work for them. And it was pretty interesting. Sometimes, you know, that can be a bit of a communication breakdown. You're not as quick to get the comms across when you're rotating players like that if you play with a core 4 for so long. But it works well, and it's interesting. Here we go, though. Okay, two names on screen here that I've been waiting to see. Reject Tokyo. They had some good games yesterday, stealing away second places, getting closer and closer towards a chicken dinner. It is about that time in Japan. We're getting close towards Christmas, so let's see if they'll be able to get their hands on a chicken dinner today. Right now, they push their way up and instigate a firefight versus Mad Balls. Mad Balls, they've been hit with the unlucky stick on SANHOK before. Whoa. This time, they're getting hit with nades.
Oh, it's a big nade from Rage. I mean, as soon as I saw the little arc on it, I was like, that looks pretty dead on target there versus the guys from Mad Bulls. And again, for Mad Bulls, they did exactly what I assumed they would do, which is head over towards our western side of Tambang, loot up there, refuse to go for the drop in Ruins. Falcons instead opt to head down towards that south side. There is a refrag, though, coming through. But even so, it's two players. They still need to get one of their boys back up again. And you just wonder if they'll even bother to do it, because the longer that they're in this area, the more at risk they are to other teams coming across the water towards Trifecta, or being involved. They know that Falcons must be by at this point in time.
How's it going to go for Falcons as well? Are they going to be able to swoop in, cause a bit of carnage? This is a nice little establishing shot, actually, seeing the lay of the land between how far back Alter Ego were pushed from Gladiators in the initial clash. All four still alive for Gladiators, of course, after they stole away a few elim points to start things. Bra Esports on our screens now, though, and these are some big names all surrounding one another. Up on top of the hill, you've got Starwalt, the Mongolian side, that proved just how powerful they can be on the battleground yesterday. This man in particular, Nerzed, he was an absolute warlord, Blank. He was armed to the teeth. It felt like he was basically just obliterating anyone. We saw him taking on 1v3s, 1v4s, and doing it whilst grinning.
He was very calm about it. Yeah, it was so easy for him, and it looked like just another day in the park for Stalwart a lot of times, and that's what was scary. Tops also 2k damage at the end of the day. You barely see that one time in the entirety of a league stage over in PMPL. He did it here on the first day of PMGC league stage in what is the group of death. So for Tops, that was some unreal gameplay. I love to see the way that he uses that prone position to really lock on with that M4, and I think the fact that he is so accurate with that thing and hitting headshots. That is what I was most surprised about the stats yesterday. The amount of headshots this guy hits is sort of insane, and it's the reason why he's able to put people down so quickly, is he just takes off the dome, dude. So for Stalwart, they're a very scary team overall. It's not just Nerzed, it's every single player on that squad. Nerzed's just kind of that wild dog in front that allows the rest of the team to gain so much control off the back of it.
Oh, he got that dog in him.
He
does.
does. He does.
He loves it, dude. You see the aggression, right? Whenever a fight kicks off, it's the way that he just kind of beelines it to the front line. He's like this barricade that just sort of goes up, holds it down whilst causing commotion. But you're right, in a sense of teamwork, that is the big factor. That's the thing that sets them apart, is the way that they play off of one another. Right now, though, we'll see how they can react to this, as Nerzed is struck down and finished off. Zerich from Mad Balls jabs his way in to annihilate the key man, and leaves StarWork down to just 3 off the back of the close clash we're seeing here. So many squads in close proximity to one another, just attempting to find the first knock, attempting to find the first mistake from one of the other squads. Loops there, lucky to be alive, and that's a big name for him as well. Ayala yesterday, it felt like he was really popping off blank in close range combat especially. He was very confident with his flicks.
Yeah, Isle, a big-time vet here coming through from Team Queso, now over on Loops Esports. I mean, he did a lot for them. Really was able to push their boundaries to the limit, get them into a lot of awkward scenarios, and then out of those awkward scenarios as well. So I love that play from Isla, and the rest of Loops Esports certainly are able to rep that legendary name within Americas. Really, really good stuff. For Stalwart, like you said, losing Nerzed is not ideal. However, they have this really interesting gameplay where once they lose one of their players, they instantly buckle up, turn into a salvage mission type of mode, and then just try and get as far into these games as possible. Because I think for Stalwart, if they have 4 players, they're happy to pop off. They understand, though, that here on SANHOK, you need a little bit more pressure. You sort of need those 4 players to give you a chance towards that end game. So right now, it looks like they're going to be looking for a couple more elimination points and then just see how far they can push those placement points. As long as they keep that buffer at the top, they're going to be really safe going forward, Jackie. And it's going to make it nigh on impossible to leapfrog them. And I think that's what's terrifying about Stalwart, is just their ability to pump points every game. Now, this is crazy from Tops, currently looking for a 1v3, and that nade could be absolutely devastating.
Dude, this is wild. The sheer level of confidence he had. And look at the timing on it as well. They've even called for the double nade. They were doing this yesterday. It's really hard to synergize this as effectively as they've been doing it. But they're really confident in holding the pin, waiting for the call, double nading at the same time, dealing enough damage to get the knock off the back of it. Action still throwing nades in through the windows and blowing Tiamba to pieces. You've now got to push in to try and clear out in close range. Molotov as well. So the utility massively paying dividends here. And they clean up. That's beautiful. They've just mopped them up like a spilled drink.
Yeah, the utility usage is absolutely nutty over towards this side of Stalwart. Every single bit of utility has a reasoning and a value behind it. I mean, that particular building is a little bit rough to get rid of because a lot of times players can just dip in towards that back room and then jump back out again once you bait the nade out. But a fantastic lineup, like I said, with the double nade. Tops knows that nade's not going to hit. He cooks it in such a way that it doesn't explode immediately, gives them time to walk out directly into the nade, the action throws to bounce into that opening outside the door. So it's so smart, and I think that that's what makes Stalwart very good, is they don't take too many chances in these fights. If they can use utility to completely confirm themselves a team wipe, they absolutely will. You see a lot of teams with like 16 nades on board, and they're essentially just lugging them around for no reason. Stalwart uses every single little bit their advantage.
I think that's the key fact you've kind of hit the nail on the head with there as well, because I believe that was 5 nades in total and 1 Molotov for a full squad wipe. The fact you've used that so efficiently with the timing and the comms, especially with the spacing they had between one another, and being able to play so confidently, it's really impressive. It was happening all day yesterday. It's happening all day again today, it seems, if they can maintain this. And that'll be a big boon for you. It can make the difference, especially when fighting with 3 players rather than 4. Talking of fighting, though, it's still going on. Everyone is duking it out at this point. Melissa seems to be struggling as they're getting battled upon. Loops as well getting thrown into the fray, but Tops is dropped as he'll be connected from the sideline. It never ends right now, Blank. The elimination feed is going 60 miles an hour.
Yeah, and it's only going to get quicker as well, because this is one hell of a cruel circle, right? This has accelerated the gameplay massively into this match. You shift this bad boy over towards the western side, out towards that bridge, out towards Trifecta. You're forcing teams across It's really, really tough terrain. For Mad Bulls, in the near future, they're going to have an extremely good time when it comes to those eliminations because a lot of teams have to cross over Hainan Bridge, and they've got themselves set up nicely to catch a lot of those rotates and hopefully clear out a little bit of space. In the meantime, it's A7 trying to push through what is quite difficult terrain right now. On the other side of things is Gladiators. 3 eliminations in a great spot, a great compound holding out on the western edge. This might be the first time in a while we see Gladiators have a good game. I wouldn't classify that last Miramar from yesterday as a great game. I don't think they did too much. What they did do right was a quick rotate, which again they're displaying here. It's just those silly mistakes that need to be shored up.
The good thing about it today, though, is at least they've had time to loot. They've had time to get suited and booted. You can see there's ammunition, there's utility, and there's also one important factor, which is confidence. Meku's been going for peak. Tixie's is going for peaks. You need to have that killer instinct back, and it seems like Gladiators are starting to find it again. Yesterday, they were playing with a lot of respect, playing very timid, playing not to lose blank. Today, it feels like they're starting to get back into that mindset of we have to play to win, and that can be a very big difference maker for you. Right now, though, we'll switch on over to a clash that means so much. This was going on all day yesterday. Bra Esports versus DX was a non-stop roadshow of aggression. Here, it's the nade that blows the wheels clean off for Bra. 2 of them down in an instant, and they're pushing on out to try and clean up on this one. DX, oh, I didn't expect them to handle it so quickly, but they certainly have.
And I mean, it goes on. That vendetta coming through from DX and Bra just never stops. And I think that team is a great dichotomy, right, between SEA and the Western region in general. It's just SEA just seems to have much, much, much better utility usage overall. They seem very, very clean with it. A lot of times if a fight doesn't need you to take it raw with DBSs, they don't care for it. They'll just send nades your way. I think the Western region has some incredible fraggers on side, some incredible mechanical skill, but what they seem to be lacking is just that utility usage, that smart gameplay to open up into a fight and then just clean out from there.
Unleashing a hailstorm of bullets here. Just barraging in. Bit unfortunate for Misery, it seems, as he'll be suffering up to his namesake, going through some misery. Oh, overall, EVOS as well, really starting to buckle now under the pressure. The Falcons, meanwhile, have been clashed. The horns between them and Loops have been hitting each other quite consistently. A7 as well seem to be suffering from success somewhat here. A7 have been doing a good job into our previous games over day one of just finding an ability to backdoor, finding an ability to really third party on fights when players are low. Whereas this time around, they're going up against the Gladiator squad that has that bloodlust back. And it seems like they've just completely crushed them there, being able to handle it relatively easy. And this is a lot better. This is a 6 elimination game right now for Gladiators blank. Something has changed.
They needed that bloodlust back as well, because yesterday just looked like livestock right at the end of the day. Yes, they were rotating into the circle, but they were just waiting to be picked up a lot of times. Here, they're actually going for knocks. They're going for those eliminations. Matic looks way more on the money today too. Look at that. Even more damage just pouring out, and a double knock coming through with the assist from Frozen. This is wonderful stuff for this team.
Yeah, this is huge. It's also insult to injury as they've been able to find Mad Balls and really quite cut their way through them, leaving them in a bit of an awful position here as Frozen, basically down in a ditch, needs to try and hold back the oncoming assailants that are the Gladiators. The chainmail is firmly suited onto them today, and it seems like the swords are sharpened. You've got a close grouping of teams off towards the wayside as well. This is really the only one clash that they've got to get through cleanly. If they can find their way past Frozen and do it without sustaining too much damage or being forced to use too many meds on a repair, they're going to be content with this one. You'll have a nice clean path, good edge to work with in terms of the zone as well. Frozen, he's got nades to play with. Dashes back one, single Molotov in the pocket, and then it's just down to the rifle to defend himself. Meanwhile, Meku, scouting out towards the coastline, has found his way onto Zuxi, who's just been swimming along, trying to stay alive as the last man for EVOS blank, but he is barely alive at this point.
Yeah, just trying to stay out the sightlines from I8 as well as Gladiators is not an easy experience for them. I like the Gladiators are playing it's a little bit slower, right? Trying to play it safe over towards Frozen and Teak. They know how quickly a SANHOK can turn around if you lose one player, if you take things a little bit too risky. And I think right now with them holding a lot of this western side, they had a cracking start over towards this fight too, with them taking 2 players off Falcons, 1 player off Mad Bulls. They effectively cleaned out the entirety of this southwest edge that they can now just play around with. Great little bobbler there coming through from Matic, who again has been on an absolute tear today recently.
A Matic coming alive is the difference for this, man. It really is. You could see it at the beginning, Blank, right? Instantly, when he's dropped and swung, looking for a fight versus just tucking in, it means the world of difference. And Gladiators, they're just not calming down. They are shoveling coal into the engine at this point. 11 eliminations as of right now, topping everyone else by half, it seems, with their overall collective tally. But how far can they push this one? Rejects ahead of them, loops off to the wayside. Zuxi hiding in plain sight with a DBS. They're going to push him. Oh, they gave him the 1v1s as well, Blank. If the timing was slightly more off on that, he could have taken down both of them and left them in a risky position. Instead, it will be the reset off the back of the res.
I get very fortunate here. The fact that there's not a lot of teams watching over towards the north side, because pretty much everyone's dead in this circle other than these players over towards the east in Trifecta. It gives them that free rotate across the bridge with the circle leaving a little bit of it still in with that cover. It's so important for I8. Gladiators on the other hand, what a game from them so far. This has been absolutely huge. Like you said, Matic getting into the swing of things at the start of this game was so important to them. Meku takes down Chief. They got a good tag over towards Ayala, so they know he's in this position, and even more damage coming over towards I8. They know they need to switch round though. This is a 4v3. There's 1 player already down on Gladiators.
Oh, Meku drops. Blade coming out like the human hatchet, wants to cut his way through them, and the clash for Gladiators finally ends. They were entertaining us, but it's over. No survival now as we're down to the final 3 and Gladiators aren't in the runnings anymore. Loops with a solo dolo. A man that has been proving his gun skill is incredible, but you'd have to go above and beyond in a spot like this. I8 as well, playing good squad gameplay right now, playing off each other's contact very cleanly. For Reject Tokyo, they're getting rejected from this final zone as another one's been put back into the dirt.
2 solos now versus I8, and I8 not having the greatest of days yesterday. They need to step things up in terms of performance. They look a lot stronger here. Yes, they get a little bit fortunate on this circle, but they bide their time. They wait to move in. Ayala, though, crawling through the smoke here. No nades on either Loops or Reject, and all the nades to play with for I8. Really, they just need to start clearing out spaces that might seem a danger, but you don't want to get too close. Blade already takes 1 hit. He's down, looking for the flush too, and Ayala is in relative safety.
He's got smoke to work with on this. Pin pulled on the nade though, that's going to be coming in. If the arc is nice on it, it could connect, but it goes too far. A 3-pointer when he just needed to get it straight in the hoop. Ayala, that one's going to take him down though. Loops out of commission. Lufa with a peek. Good timing, hits 1, forces it out into a 1v1, a winnable situation for Reject. They've had so many second places. Can they finally get themselves a chicken dinner on the board? Pushing up close as the shotgun's pulled out. 2 clean pumps, but it will stop him. Reject Tokyo crumble at the end as I8 claim it.
Mate, Lufa looked like he almost had it there as well. A great push against